on Network Africa. Armies in Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo reclaim key areas from rival rapid support forces and M23 rebels. Venancio Mondlane calls for protest over election dispute in Mozambique. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. We begin with stories that made headlines over the weekend.
Citizens and members of the Sudanese armed forces celebrated on the streets of Wad Madani on Sunday, a day after the army said it had entered the central city of Wad Madani and was pushing out its paramilitary rivals, the Rapid Support Forces, RSF. This is seen as a step which, if completed successfully, would be its biggest gain in nearly 2 years of war. Footage filmed during a trip organized by the army for the media shows citizens celebrating, dancing, and singing in the streets. Recapture of the state as a whole could mark a turning point in the war that began in April 2023 over disputes on the integration of the two forces. This has created one of the world's largest humanitarian crises, with the displacement of more than 12 million people and half the population facing hunger. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on the African National Congress ANC to renew itself or risk extinction during the party's 113th anniversary celebration on Saturday in Cape Town. Mr. Ramaphosa acknowledged the party's current struggles, including unemployment, poverty, inequality, and loss of majority in recent elections. He outlined a plan for action focused on improving the economy, enhancing government services, and rebuilding the ANC.
And this is a moment wherein the ANC should either renew itself or perish. And this is an important lesson that we have learned from the past elections. Unless we renew ourselves, unless we ensure that the ANC is renewed, we face the danger, yes, of perishing as a movement. The election outcome has taught us an important lesson.
As the ANC now leads a national unity government along with 9 other political parties, President Ramaphosa emphasized the party's commitment to regaining public confidence and returning as a majority party in the next elections. Its call for renewal comes as the Freedom Charter, the ANC's policy blueprint, celebrates its 70th anniversary. On Saturday and Sunday overnight, heavy rain turned down on Vohime as cyclone Dikeledi intensified on the northeastern coast of Madagascar. This caused damage to the area and raised concerns about possible flooding in the days to come. Trees bending in strong winds, puddles forming on deserted city streets as rain continued for more than 24 hours. As a result of this disaster, branches of fallen trees were scattered on the ground, trees toppled over, and other structures collapsed, leading to the closure of local businesses. According to the National Risk Atlas and the National Office for Risks and Disaster Management, BNGLC, up to 45,000 residents will suffer direct effect from Cyclone Dikeledi. Officials also advised sailors to return to the land, refraining from venturing out to sea for the next 2 days. On the neighboring French overseas territory of Mayotte, which is also located on the cyclone's way, a red weather alert has been issued.
Amid escalating violence in the eastern regions of the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Congolese army has announced significant military gains against the M23 group. Over the weekend, the Congolese military reported that it had successfully pushed back M23 forces and recaptured several key towns in both North and South Kivu provinces. The Congolese army confirmed these developments in a statement to the press, emphasizing that the military had regained control of multiple localities that had been under the M23's occupation. This comes amid heightened tensions in the region, where fighting between the Congolese army and the M23 has intensified over the past several weeks. The M23, a predominantly Tutsi rebel group, first emerged in 2012 and briefly seized the city of Goma, which lies on the border with Rwanda. Here in Nigeria, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day is being celebrated in the southeast with interdenominational prayers held in reverence to fallen heroes, with more calls for increase in the investments in manpower to boost the morale of soldiers. Our next report highlights services from Abia, Imo, and Anambra states, where the state governors resounded their commitments to help the military overcome the various challenges it's up against.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day is a day used to recall the gallantry of fallen soldiers. Within the ranks, they are referred to as military heroes. Usually celebrated on January 15th every year, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day is keenly observed by the military hierarchy, and this year, 2025, is no different. The southern part of the country is not left out from the celebrations, as in Abia State, members of the armed forces serving converged at Queen Elizabeth Hospital Chapel, Umahia, for the interdenominational Thanksgiving service to mark this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day. From the pulpit comes a message of hope from the chaplain, Reverend Ernest Onyeuku, to the men in service.
In today's Nigeria that is characterized by economic hardship, that is characterized by insecurity, disorder, and all forms of injustices. Today's Nigeria that we witness untold wickedness. It may be difficult to tell somebody not to fear, because things to be afraid are all around us. Yet, God says, fear not, for I am with you.
Speaking at the Thanksgiving service, the Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti expressed his gratitude to the members of the armed forces.
Our indefatigable armed forces, many, you say you are living there, I know we do, who toil day and night to ensure that we stay in particular state. So let me, on behalf of the Abia State Government, thank you for the job that you do.
In neighboring Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma says his administration is employing kinetic and non-kinetic approach to ensure that there is no reoccurrence of breakdown of law and order in the state. Governor Uzodinma was speaking during the special interdenominational church service.
We are doing our best to restore peace and order, to make life more meaningful in Imo State, to do our best to recover those things we lost in the past. And we continue to urge our people, those who are able to reach out to some of our brothers and sisters in the bush, wandering here and there, to let them know that the war is over. They should come out from the bush. They should come out from the bush, that we are available to receive them, to also join them to ensure that they have a change of heart and change of lifestyle. To come and do something meaningful, to say no to crime, to be more patriotic, to commit to the country Nigeria and to support government.
Over in Anambra State, Governor Chukwuma Soludo is promising continuous support for the armed forces to enable the forces defeat their enemies.
Policemen are sent, the soldiers are sent, and they are in the field to protect us, to keep us safe. And then some persons go there, kill them, shoot them at the point of their service, and take away their guns and go to the bush. We, as a people of God, must do something. The irreducible minimum is that we must at all times that this happens rise up in unison and condemn it. That's the only way we'll tell them that we care.
Across the southern states, prayers were also said for the repose of the fallen soldiers and prayers to sustain officers in service.
Events have continued to hold in honor of the life and times of the former U.S. President Jimmy Carter for his selfless service to humanity through his Carter Foundation. In Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, Nigeria's former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, organized a funeral ceremony in memory of the former U.S. president at the Chapel of Christ the Glorious King Church.
It's a funeral service in honor of the late President of the United States of America, Jimmy Carter. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, his wife, family members, friends, associates, and clergymen are here at the Chapel of Christ the Glorious King in Abeokuta. Though about 5,000 miles away from where he lived and died, the memories of the life and times of the late U.S. President comes alive as the President of the Nigeria Baptist Convention, Reverend Israel Adelani Akonji, asked leaders to emulate the virtues of selfless service that Mr. Carter lived and died for.
Jimmy Carter, he knew the way, he knew God, he showed the way, he was a great teacher of the Word of God, and he went the way himself. He was a lover of his wife, his family, and a lover of people to the ends of the world. He showed himself as an inclusive person. He fought for human rights. He stood for human rights of all people. That's the man, Jimmy Carter himself.
Former President Obasanjo, the convener of the funeral service, describes his late friend as a humanist, man of God, and highlights some of the qualities which endeared him to the late U.S. president.
He grew up under a father and mother who were disciplinarian, who instilled in him a sense of discipline, morality, hard work, integrity, kindness and humility, compassion for the poor, and strong belief in God.
Chief Obasanjo goes on to commend the former U.S. president for saving his life during General Sani Abacha's military era as the head of state of Nigeria.
On President Carter's visit to Nigeria, he got Abacha to agree to take me from detention to house arrest on my farm. But that did not last for too long. Many other friends and leaders intervened, but President Carter was the only non-African leader, according to my information, that paid a visit to Abacha solely to plead for my relief.
The late Jimmy Carter was the longest-lived U.S. president and the first to reach 100 years of age. The 39th President of the United States of America was born on October 1st, 1924, and died on December 29th, 2024.
Welcome back. We're in Mozambique now, where opposition leader Venancio Mondlane has called for 3 days of protest this week. Mondlane insists that he was robbed of victory in last October's elections, which saw the Frelimo party officially awarded a huge win. His return from exile last week sparked confrontations between supporters and police in the capital, Maputo. Later on Saturday, he urged for what he called a national strike as the new parliament prepares to sit from today, with Frelimo's Daniel Chapo due to be president on Wednesday. Mr. Chapo, a 48-year-old former governor with no state experience, will succeed outgoing President Filipe Nyusi. Locals from the town of Voima are calling on the Madagascan government to provide assistance in cleaning up the waste left behind by Cyclone Dikeledi in one of its mangrove forests. The cyclone scattered garbage all over the mangrove forest, with plastic bags seen submerged in water and others squatting between tree branches. Environmentalists say the impact of the storm is disrupting the habitat of species living there, such as fish and crabs, which are essentially sources of food and income for the local population. Media reports indicate that Cyclone Dikeledi hit Madagascar's northern coast on Saturday evening before weakening into a severe tropical storm. At least 3 people were killed, while hundreds were affected due to the torrential rains brought by the storm. And provisional results have shown that Chad's ruling party has won 2/3 of seats in the legislative election, which was boycotted by many in the opposition last month. Results of the December 29 election seals the country's transition to constitutional rule more than 3 years after Mr. Deby seized control following the sudden death of his father and long-standing predecessor, Idris Deby Itno. Mr. Deby's party, the Patriotic Salvation Movements. And here in Lagos, the lawmaker representing Mushin Federal Constituency 2, Honorable Oluwatoyin Fayinka, has handed over 5 intervention projects to the people of the area. Mr. Fayinka, who donated a block of classrooms, renovated Mushin General Hospital Administrative Block, empowered 500 students, among others, says he will continue to support the people in his constituency and develop the area for the benefit of Mushin residents. He also urged the people to support the initiatives of the federal government and be hopeful for a better country.
The provision of a conducive learning environment in Idiaraba Community High School premises is one of the 5 projects initiated by Honorable Oluwatoyin Fayinka, representing Mushin Federal Constituency 2. A new block of classrooms have just been added to the existing ones to accommodate more students into the school.
The classes are neat and the environment is well maintained. And with this, we can boldly say that this is an addition, a great addition to the education infrastructure in Mushin.
I'm using the opportunity to implore all the Serikis, the Babas, the KPSCs, that they should endeavor to help us bring out all these children. They can still register now. No time is late, because the logo for LASUBEB is leave no child behind. We don't want to miss anybody out. Even the handicapped, the special ones, we have school for them.
The lawmaker says the project is part of legislative intervention for his constituency to ensure that every child has access to education irrespective of tribe or religion.
I've done my own part. Now I want to charge you. Seriki, Bale, Yariyan, Mata, Yaro. This is not the time for fight. For our future leaders, it is imperative for us all, as residents and stakeholders of this great community, to protect this infrastructure as our own.
From Idiaraba Community High School to Mushin General Hospital to hand over the newly rehabilitated administrative block to the hospital management, who are grateful for the gesture.
We honor and express our profound appreciation to Honorable Toyin Fayinka, whose visionary leadership and benevolence has significantly impacted our healthcare system and the lives of countless individuals. Sir, you have improved the physical structure of this facility and restored hope and dignity to people who rely on its services. Your investment in this healthcare is a testament to our commitment to uplifting our community.
That's not all. Solar-powered streetlights on Aromire Street, Oloruntosin Street, Olufunmilayo Street, Layi Oyekomi Street, among others, as well as rehabilitation of Wahid Akpesin Street in Ilasamaja, has received attention by Honorable Fayinka. 500 residents of Mushin are also receiving 100,000 naira each to support their business after the Yuletide expenses.
This is about 500 names here. I'm very sure 300 people will tell you they don't know me. They've never met me. They are just hearing about me. That is the best of it. Mushin continue to be peaceful. Good times are near. Where we are doing much more better than this. Continue to be law-abiding. Continue to be prayerful. Bible says, whoever that pray for the land of Israel, so I do what Bible says. Here is our Israel. Your home is your Israel. Your husband is your Israel. Your wife is your Israel. Your children is your Israel. Pray for the leaders. Pray for them. Pray for us. We want to do good, but certain things might happen. Pray for us so that we could serve you better.
Honorable Oluwatoyin Fayinka, representing Mushin Federal Constituency 2, says he will not relent in developing Mushin and supporting the people to make them financially stable.
And finally on the program, in a bid to showcase South Africa's heritage, mountainous landscapes and cultural diversity, the Limpopo Tourism Agency, LTA, hosted media personalities from both local and international platforms on an exclusive tourism excursion across the Limpopo province. The tour highlights some of the province's hidden gems and culminates with the historic Umpungubwe Arts Festival. Our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Timusa, was part of that journey and brings us the story.
Limpopo province rolled out the red carpet for local and international media personalities, offering a first-hand experience of its unique tourism treasures. The Limpopo excursion kicked off in the Sekhukhune district, introducing participants to fascinating attractions such as the Shoe Museum, the Echo Caves, and the historic Bushman Rock Shelter.
And it's my first time visiting the Limpopo province in this part of the country. And we had an opportunity to go to the Echo Caves, where we learned about the historical background that made us who we are as modern people. And it's amazing that things that were documented is written on the walls, it's written on the caves, how they lived, and it tells a footprint or leaves a footprint of how things were shaped, how the social community was formed, and we can learn a lot from our past in order to shape the future.
The tour then moved to the Mopani district, where visitors explored the renowned Hoedspruit Endangered Species Centers, a hub for wildlife conservation. Vembe district brought history to life with a visit to the Mapungubwe National Park and World Heritage Site. The grand finale, Mapungubwe Arts Festival, was a vibrant celebration. Limpopo Premier Poppy Ramotoba highlights the significance of the Mapungubwe Arts Festival in supporting small and medium enterprises.
For us as a province which is still trying to build its economy, Mapungubwe Festival, we utilize it as another way of promoting tourism. The people who are attending here are not necessarily coming from this area. That is why if you go and look at your lodges, which are affordable, which are owned by a number of SMMEs. They are fully booked, which means they will be able to generate revenue. If you check our restaurants tomorrow, they will be fully booked.
From history to conservation and culture, Limpopo province left an indelible impression on all who attended the media excursion. From Limpopo province, South Africa, Innocent Samos, Channels Television News.
And that's where we end today's program. Thank you for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.